Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to a new video here on Patreon. And today I'm gonna be doing a pretty beginner-friendly texturing tutorial, and we're gonna be texturing this fire hydrant. And yeah, I'm using the latest version of Blender, the 2.92 beta, and the reason why it's because we're gonna be able to do these nice edges using optics. And yeah, it's only possible to do that in the latest Blender 2.92 and above. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm just going to get rid of this one and make our new material. Let's do this. So I'm gonna call this tutorial number 2 because this is my second attempt. So yeah, first things first, as we're gonna make this a nice red material. It's sort of pinkish, I found, and I'm gonna bring down the brightness a little, so something like that, I guess. Okay, so fire hydrants are a little metallic. They're not 100% because they still have a little paint on them, and the specularity is basically the same. And yeah, right now this looks pretty boring, but to just make this look a lot better, we're gonna hit Control T and also enable the Node Wrangler add-on. Like, this is the first thing you gotta do when you install Blender. Node Wrangler, just click, check the thing. So that enables you to hit Control T and open up an image texture. So I'm just going to take this guy. I downloaded it from textures.com. It's called Concrete Leaking. It's free to download. So yeah, if you want to just get nice textures, I recommend doing that. And also, I got this fire hydrant from BlendSwap. I will provide the project file down below if you want to try this out. So I'm actually going to do this in Eevee. The first time I tried to do this, I had some issues because it just started lagging because my the GPU was just going crazy. So I'm going to use the... Is this really how it looks? Oh yeah, of course. Okay, great. So hopefully this shouldn't lag. Okay, base color. We're basically going to use this concrete texture as a mix between two different shades of red. I'm gonna show you. So if you add a mix RGB and set the first color, I drop it to be the one you just picked, and do the same for this one, but you're just gonna make this a little bit blacker. And let's plug that in, and we're going to use this texture to control the mix between these. And you can see we have a nice looking thing going on. It's just a little bit more grungy. I might have to turn these up a little. Yeah. Okay, so this already looks a lot better, and if you want to, you can add a color ramp in between to tweak the amount of dirt and grime. So I think this looks pretty good. Maybe a little less. Yeah. So if you want to just make this pop a little more, you can take this color and plug it into the normal and have a bump map here instead, and use the height socket. And now you'll get a bunch of faked out geometry, basically. And not geometry, it's more like I don't really know what to call it, but I'm just gonna bring it down so it's not as intense. Also, you can set this to be closest and it will just be a lot higher res. Basically it will displace the individual pixels and not try to mush them together. And yeah, you can do that if you want to. So basically this is our fire hydrant right now. It looks pretty okay, I guess, but it's missing something. One, it's missing some roughness variation, and it's missing some of that nice edge wear. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this texture and find a new one. So I've got some imperfections here that I've downloaded, and I'm just gonna use one of them. And these are super easy to just find on textures.com or Quixel Bridge or Polygon. So if we plug this into the roughness right now, it's a little too reflective for my opinion. So I'm gonna add a color ramp in between and tweak the strength of this. So this will just add some bits of highlights a little everywhere, and it just looks a little nicer. This is before, after, and I'm gonna bring it down a little. Awesome. So now it's time for the edgeware. So basically, this is our. I'm gonna try to clean this up as much as I can. This is unnecessary. Gonna have the images there. Gonna have the color ramps there. Okay, so this is our first texture. This is our, I think you can just group them together or something. Control G, but that's just confusing, I guess. So I'm gonna undo that. How do you undo that? Ungroup, there we go. I think you can just do something. Never mind. Basically, this is our paint texture, and we're gonna have basically how edgeware works is some of the paint at the edges flakes off. So we're gonna make one metal texture for what's underneath, and we already have our paint texture. So I'm gonna duplicate that, and I'm gonna plug this into the surface. So I'm gonna bring the strength of the white stuff down, and I'm gonna bring the saturation down too. So yeah, I'm gonna bring up the metallicness, and for the roughness I'm just gonna use the same grunge map, so we get some imperfections there too. Awesome. So we have our metal stuff, and we can plug the normal in here too. Great. So we're gonna mix these. But how do we mix these, you may ask? Well, we use a mix shader. But this doesn't really work because they will just dissolve into each other. That's not really what we want. We want only this metallic texture to be on the edges and this one to be everywhere else. So to do that, there's actually a very nice method, and I don't really know if bevel modifiers works in Eevee. Just gonna see if it does. I think it does. Anyway, I'm gonna be doing this in cycles. I recommend using cycles for final renders and stuff. So we're going to use a bevel node, and we're going to use a geometry node. And don't try to understand this because I don't even do that. So we're also going to use a vector math node. Okay, so if we take the normal and plug it into this thing, and take the normal of the bevel and plug it in here, and then we can take and change this to dot product and plug it into the factor. Actually, let's plug it into the surface first. So yeah, it doesn't really work, so we're gonna have to change to cycles. Okay, so here in cycles we can see that we have some black stuff going on randomly. So to fix that, we're gonna add a color ramp, and here we can actually tweak these. I'm just gonna set this to CPU. I don't really want to have a lag. Okay, so if we slide this around, you can see that we start getting black stuff on the edges, and that's exactly what we want because we want to mix this together. So that's basically it. So if we just plug this in here and use this as a mix factor, you can see that we have some nice edges with edgeware. Great, but in my opinion this is a little too big, so I'm going to bring down the radius to like 0.01. There we go. That looks way better, and you can just see from this small change how it just looks better because it's natural, and it's not really something like we humans, we don't really pick it up. It just just sits in the back of our heads, and if it's not there, it just looks wrong. So yeah, that's basically how you do a little thing. And yeah, if you found this video helpful, yeah, I'm glad, or I'm happy, I don't really know. Yeah, have a great day. Bye bye.